Hello everyone, Dr. Michelini here. This video is about to walk you through some simple visual design strategies in order to multimodally write. So you might be thinking, Dr. M, why are we going over visual design? This is a writing class. It is, but today's world is so much more than text. And I don't need to tell you guys that. You already know, social media, our phones, our computers, everything that we do is multimodal. Multimodal simply means that it's more than one element. It's not just text. It's also photo, or it's also video. It's also all of these other fun components that make things so interesting to engage with and read. So for your character analysis project, I'm going to walk you through a few visual design strategies to help you multimodally write, to write in more than one mode. Okay, so let's jump in. First of all, what is visual design? Visual design is the rhetorical combination of art elements. That might sound like, what the heck is that? It just means that you're using color, line, scale, and texture, excuse me, to compose an overall visual effect for a purpose, okay? The purpose is to draw your reader in, to engage them further with the subject matter, and to produce a really effective message, okay? So what I'm going to teach you right now, I don't want to be overwhelming. I want you to think about it as, how do I use color, lines on the page, scale, how big or small something is, and the overall visual look of it to draw my reader in, to clarify what's most important, and to drive home my message, okay? Whatever yours is. All right, so the three that we're going to hone in on in this video are color, line or vector, meaning like the literal lines on a page of visual design, and scale, how big and small something is. And what this does is when all of these are working together, it achieves a unifying effect with your visual. So everything looks like it belongs together. Fancy way of saying it looks nice together, right? It's balanced, so there's not all the information crammed on one side of the page and not so much on the other. There's focalization in it, meaning I know where to look. As the reader of it, I can see where I'm supposed to look for the information. And then there's repetition. Repetition might sound like, why would you want to repeat information on a visual design? But repetition for purposeful visual design can be really effective, such as like using the same color to match your headings, right? Or using the same size text for different, pieces of font, that kind of thing, okay? So we want to do intentional repetition sometimes. So again, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I'm going to walk you through this right now with examples. One of the most fun ways to look at this is with movie posters. This is an old movie poster. Maybe you've seen Titanic. I'm about to ruin the ending for you if you haven't seen it already, because the ending sort of is on the movie poster. So if we think about color here, how is color working to achieve the message? The message of this poster is, the Titanic, right? Nothing on earth could come between them. We have this sort of dark entity coming right between them, if you see that, and they kind of look like they're in heaven. They have like lighter colors, more soft or golden colors, and it looks like they are, above the Titanic. We have a repetition of color here with the gold on the ship and then the gold writing down here. Now, this color tells us these names are not very important because they're hard to read, especially against the black background. So the white writing pops. That's what they want you to look at, right? And we have colors here that tell us that maybe they're in heaven or their relationship is, heavenly or above, that kind of thing. Now, color is balancing here. It's directing our gaze. It's showing us where to look, and it's giving it focus. The next thing we're going to look at with this same movie poster is line. Where do you see the lines, the literal lines on the movie poster working for the message? I can see a couple of things. One, I kind of already mentioned, the ship itself is pointing to separate them. Nothing on earth could come between them, but the ship, if it kept going, would cut them in half, right? So the line here is cutting them in half, and it's showing that they're not going to be together in the end, right? Line also works to keep our eyes sort of on a page. So while they have a sort of upwards V or arrow here, there is a another arrow balancing it. If you look at their faces, they're kind of framed down, okay? That's important. That is designed so that you keep your eyes on the page, so that when your eyes go up here, they're falling down back onto the Titanic, so that you stay there a little bit longer. So anything where someone is not, framing the image to keep your eyes on the page, the eyes are more likely to wander off to something else, okay? All right, and then scale here. Obviously, the ship is huge, right? We have this huge ship, and they are also very enlarged, right? It shows us what the most important things are here, the ship and their relationship, right? This is very clearly a love story. We can see the embrace here, right? We can see that these are the two main things that are important, okay? And the size of the text tells us this is the title here, right? That kind of thing. So those are some of the ways in which color, line, and scale are used here. And the way that these work, again, is to achieve that unity, that everything looks nice, looks like it belongs together on that movie poster. It's balanced. It's got the two V's, right? It looks balanced. We know where we're supposed to look, like our eyes aren't darting all around, like confused. We might not even think about that. But when you look at something that's well designed, you know where to look. Your eyes are boom. That's the thing that captures your attention. And there's intentional repetition with color and with scale and all of that. Okay. So you want to use color, line, and scale, these art elements, to achieve the best design. The best design has all of these things, right? So when you go to design your character analysis project, you want to use scale, line, and color to call attention to what's most important, to draw your reader in, and to clarify your message. So everything in your design should help to clarify the message that you're saying about your character. Okay, so it shouldn't be like confusing. Okay, ready to take a look at some examples? So these examples that I have pulled up here are all from students, just like you, who completed the character analysis project recently, okay? The first design principle that I want to look at is unity. So this person used color, line, and scale to make sure that their visual message of their character analysis was consistent. It looks like it all goes together. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. They actually did a mini video, which you don't have to do, but they kind of put their different components of the character analysis together so that it would play in a row here. Okay, so we can see right away we have consistency with color here, right, from the first few slides. We have consistency with an image here, where, the android is turning into different humans, but it looks similar. We have consistency with heading here. Everything looks like it belongs together. The scale, the size of the heading is the same. The size of the other bodies of text are the same on it. So we have an idea right away. Our brain knows, oh, that's a heading, right? It's the same size as the other headings. It's just as important. And we have a lot of consistency and unity there. So color, line, and scale all working well here to achieve that unity. This is another example here. This image shows a lot of balance. Okay, so balance on the visual design is something that we want to achieve. You can see here they are examining Lulu from Black Box, and she is in the center, and she's sort of cut in half here, right? These are the ways in which she's a victim. These are the ways in which she's empowered. So it's very even here with balance. The other thing that we have is two bubbles up top. These are slightly imbalanced, okay? You can see that they're not exact. That's okay. The thing that's important is the text is the same size, which means that I know that that text is the same level of importance. So you do not want to change your text size or your heading size based on the space on the page necessarily. It's better to have a little bit of asymmetry here. It still looks balanced, and make sure that the things that like are the heading or the body of the text are all the same size. And we see here too, we have balance in their points. So they have 4 points for empowered and 4 for victim. That adds to their message that she's equal parts both, right? That would tell me without even reading it that they feel that she is equal parts both, okay? We have some play with color here where it's darker on one side, lighter on the other, but it's balanced again, right? And the scale of things we touched on is also balanced. Okay. Focalization. this just is a fancy way of saying you know where to look, okay? When I look at this character analysis, the first thing that I see is empowered victim and Lulu, right? I see they're talking about Lulu in the middle here because the black and white is a really sharp contrast, but then the color really pops. Okay, so we have victim and empowered, the ways in which she was a victim, the ways in which she's empowered, and we know where to look. These are the most important points on this page, okay? And then the point of view, this is the explanation of why she's a victim or why she's empowered here, right? So that's also important, but boom, you need to know first that she's a victim and she's empowered, okay? So that's really clear. My eyes know where to look, and I know that this is who we're talking about. Okay. Finally, repetition. There's a lot of intentional repetition on this character analysis that I think is done really well. Strategic repetition is important so that we know where to look, what's important, it's balanced, it has that unity. We have unity in the bubbles here. We have unity in even the angle of the text is the same. So it's not all over the place. It has that unifying effect with the repetition. We have a repetition of dangerous, dangerous, dangerous as the ways in which we are showing that this character is dangerous, right? We don't need to wait to get to the body text to see that this is what this is all about, right? We have repetition with the red. So creators of technology should not give medical android human emotions, right? So, and then we have what the emotions could do and the problems of them in red in the text below. So really nice repetition there that reinforces the central message of this student's character analysis, okay? So you can see how all of these things are working together for a really strong visual design that helps drive home the message. Okay, now you might be wondering, Dr. M, how do I do this? Canva is an awesome platform, all right, that does a lot of this kind of stuff for you. So you don't have to start from scratch. You're not like, you know, starting with a blank Word doc, although you could if you want to, if you're skilled in visual design. But I recommend using Canva, okay? It's going to lay out a lot of this stuff for you. It's going to help you with the visual design, the balance, all of these things. And then here are some additional resources. If you wanted to look up your own graphics or fonts or photos, photos that are just on Google are usually copyright protected. So you have to be careful. You're usually not allowed to use them without the permission of the photographer. But these websites, Nappy.co, Pexels, and Pixabay, all have free web pictures for you to use that the artists, the photographers have donated. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't even have to cite them. You can just include them in your visual design if you wanted to, and you can upload those to Canva. Okay, so I have these. Feel free to explore, or feel free to just stick with Canva. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, have fun with your visual design. You are all so much more skilled at this than generations previous because you grew up with social media, you grew up in a visual world. Everything is visual that you do, from TV to computers to your phone. So feel confident that you have a knack for this already. Don't be intimidated by this. You've got this, okay? And I can't wait to see everything that you do with it.